if you want to be successful, whether as a passive investor or active, you need to understand the business a little bit.
Thank you for joining me today. I'm Jen Barna from Doc Working, and I'm joined here by fellow physician, Dr. Lydia Essary. She is a practicing board-certified dermatopathologist practicing in Dallas, and she's an active syndicator in apartment investments and also passive investment in strong markets with ownership of over 400 units. I love talking with other physicians about these kind of opportunities because I know a lot of us are interested in finding ways to be able to make our practice sustainable and building some passive income on the side. And this is an area that a lot of physicians are reaching out to me, asking me about. And I just wanted to have a conversation with you, Dr. Lydia. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Jen. I'm excited to join you today.
I have so many questions about how you got started in this type of investing and also about how to understand what is a good investment, what is a good opportunity, and how to break that down for some of us who have not done this before. So can you tell me your story? How did you get into this type of investing?
Sure. We really got in by accident. Let me tell you, my husband and I are partners. We've been doing real estate investing many years, but mainly we were doing residential, just rental homes, long hold. We had very good experience and very good returns with that. But one day we decided to attend a workshop in Dallas with the idea of learning to renovate our own homes. Not knowing that they too was about apartment investing, multifamily investing. And we met who is now our mentor, Mr. Brad Samrock. He's highly known in the multifamily investing, and he's very successful. No? Well, we got in touch with him. He helped us with our first multifamily investing. Actually, that was a solo-owned property in DFW, but we didn't get very heavily involved until about 4 years ago. That was 2019 when we joined his educational group. He has a large community here in Dallas, and we learned to underwrite the properties, locate good general partners, especially understanding the markets, because it's not important just to jump in and say, oh, I found a good property in a nice area. It looks so good. You need to understand the numbers. I think if you want to be successful, whether as a passive investor or active, you need to understand the business a little bit. All depends on your goals, of course. No?
What do you recommend for someone who's just getting started to learn enough about the business? Are there any resources that you would recommend specifically for someone who wants to get started and begin the learning process?
Thank goodness today we have Google. If you just Google multifamily and educational workshops, for example, you'll get probably the top educators in the United States. And let me tell you, they are distributed evenly. I would say there are some in the West Coast, East Coast. Brad Samrock is in the central part. His headquarters, but let me tell you, he invests anywhere. So I recommend joining an educational community, because they not only provide you, like they say, they give you modules and ways for you to get started, but also they provide coaches. So if you start underwriting your properties, meaning you start plugging the numbers in a spreadsheet that they're going to give you, you can review if you did it right. What you want to do is understand the returns, the forecasted returns for the next 5 years. Let me tell you, these properties, they are long-term hold, an average of 3 to 5 years, but the minimum I have seen is you duplicate your money at least. Let's say you invest $100,000. If everything goes well and the GP team performs well in the operations, you easily can duplicate your money. It's not guaranteed, but I have seen that happening a lot in our group. Some people have been able even to do better than that. I also recommend to Google for meetups. There are a lot of local meetups that you can, those are harder to search, because let me tell you, a lot of people put a lot of attractive statements and phrases, and unfortunately, you just have to go and check it out, no? And see if you like the people that are conducting the meetup, if they invited a speaker where you feel you use your time wisely. So I could recommend the meetups here locally, but I know people are widespread everywhere. And I would start with an educational program. And even for those, you can inquire. They have like introductory workshops that don't cost much, maybe $300, and you can see if you like the group.
Yeah, that's a really good point, that you want to establish some connections. You want to get involved in a network wherever you are and learn from people that you can begin to build trust with, because I would think you wouldn't want to begin a serious investment like this with someone that you don't know well, because it's not just the history of the investment, but also how the management is going to take place during the course of those 5 years, who the other investments are. What would you say are the top 3 criteria to look for if you're thinking about investing with a group in this kind of way?
I would say if you're considering investing in an apartment property, you need to check the property itself, the numbers. That's what I talk about, the returns, the projected returns. Second, you need to see the market, because the market has to be one with the high population growth, high employment growth. They need to fill those apartment units. So if you have a population that is not growing, or is the reverse, we call those secondary markets, even tertiary markets, I would be very careful. There are very good opportunities, but you have to know. So for a beginner, I would say check on the hot markets first. And the GPT is very important. The GP, that stands for general partners. Those are the people running the assets. Those are the people that do most of the work. I mean, I just started doing that last year because I found good partners. No, it's important to, when you accept a role as a general partner, make sure the people you invite or the people you are joining have a good track record. By track record, we say, well, how many properties have they done and what kind of returns are they getting? Some of them have even gone full cycle, and they were able to return double the capital invested to their investment. That's a very good track record. I met one guy who returned 65% of the original capital. That means if you invested 100,000, they got 165 at the end of only 2 years. I thought that was very good. He decided to sell it because he found a good offer, a good opportunity to exit, being able to, and if all the investors are in agreement, why not? Because at 65%, I thought that was a good offer. So that's very unusual. Let me tell you, in the apartment investing market, usually it's longer term hold. So you need to consider that too. If you feel you don't need that capital in the next 3 years at least, or 5 years, but it's forecasted that you can at least double your money, come on, that's a very good investment. That's about 20% per year. No? And plus you get distributions throughout all the investment. They are going to give you an approximate how much you're going to get distributions. And you're going to get the tax breaks. That's the main, I would say that one of the main benefits as a high income earner for physicians or any other professional with a high income. The tax breaks is one of the best assets because apartments are considered housing by the government. The housing is allowed a lot of tax write-off, as you are going to see if you decide to join or explore a little more this type of investment, which you don't get with stocks. I mean, it's just what you make, but you don't get any tax breaks. I mean, I was there. I mean, I'm not doing any stocks right now, but I was there and thinking that I was making good money. Perhaps it was not enough. Yeah.
Have you used a resource called Bigger Pockets? I'm curious.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, they're very good. They do residential, but they also do multifamily. So yeah, that would be a good resource if you know them. Yeah, you can start at least there.
I would suggest it just as a place to go and learn.
They have blogs that you can easily join and find answers. Yeah, I remember when I first started, and every time I have a question, I'm a big Google user. Probably everybody is nowadays. No, Bigger Pocket was one of the resources giving me answers many times. I noticed they do a lot of residential. But they have good leaders. I would say the people running Bigger Pockets are good people.
Is there anything that you would warn people to watch out for? Maybe 1 or 2 tips before we sign off today, and then I'll I'll ask you too, how people can reach out to you to get more information.
Yes, find out who is running the offer. No, you're going to be offered a private. It's called a private placement offer, and it's perfectly accepted by the government. Find out who is running the asset. Interview with them, request a call, and all the questions you have, like how did you figure this return in the first year, second year? What is the cap rate? Cap rate is a metric we use a lot in multifamily investing. How did you figure the cap rate for the next 5 years? And they should be able to give you all answers. And also ask them, can you give me examples of what kind of returns you are getting in other properties? Let me tell you, it's perfectly okay. It's not all the GP team is highly experienced, because that's very common to find out. There is usually one that has all the track record, because the other members are always joining with the intent to bring something else to the table, which could be capital raising or bringing networks or bringing even the time, because running the asset requires some time. It's true that in this kind of investing, you hire a third-party company to run the asset. That's very true, but you need to stay on top of that. I mean, I'm just having a property right now that they're doing very good. I mean, we couldn't ask for better, 100% occupied, weekly reports, but don't relax on that, because consistency is what is going to guarantee a very good outcome at the end. So if you have a good GP team, I think is forecasted for that property that is well located with good numbers and a good market, the chances that it's going to succeed are much higher than with a relaxed team that could be, sometimes they're even in conflict. Some of them resigns or wants to leave. So I think asking a little bit for them, and once you feel comfortable with the GP team, sometimes you even find it by, like me, the first time I signed up for a passive, it's because I knew the person running the asset. He was a banker before. He even helped me with a loan one time. But I know how dedicated he is. He showed me his track record. He had done several properties already. And that's, I still have the property, probably they're going into the 4th year now. Good returns. He's so dedicated about the monthly report he sends. So that's the kind of general partner you want to join. So I would tell you, interview the general partner team. That would be my recommendation.
Terrific. Well, those are terrific tips. And I think there's a lot of interest out there. And I think the number one takeaway is to educate yourself before taking the big first step. And then know people that you're investing with, be thorough in your question asking and in your information seeking before making a decision to work with someone. And if you're listening and you're thinking about getting started in this and you're looking for a resource to just learn about terms like cap rate and just the basics of investing, I do think there are a lot of resources out there. There are a lot of books, and BiggerPockets that's just a place that has a lot of free resources. So that's just a thought. But tell us where people can reach you if they have additional questions for you.
Yeah, they can find, my website doesn't have a whole lot, but I took care of defining the more important terms in multifamily. They are there, like how do you calculate your NOI, or what are the roles of the GP team, LP team. So my company is named Lift, L-I-F-T, Lift Equity, and the domain is liftequityinvest.com. So that's where you can find the website. And my address is the same. You can find me at lydia@liftequityinvest.com.
Terrific. And we will link to that in the show notes. So if you're interested, you'll be able to find the link to liftequityinvest.com in the show notes. And thank you so much, Dr. Lydia Essary, for joining me today to talk about this important topic. And I look forward to talking with you again and hearing some updates as you go along.
Oh, please, anytime. I enjoy speaking with you today. Thank you.